Buddy man, what are we watching?
I got an idea.
They're a Canadian film crew for a science fiction movie.
Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie, and Ben Affleck is Batman. That's right, Ben Affleck is replacing Christian Bale as Batman on the franchise. He'll appear in the Superman vs. Batman movie first, so I thought I'd talk a little bit about what's going on and what that means for the franchise. So Christopher Nolan and Christian Bale are off the franchise completely. That's right, they were kind of a package deal. Christian Bale had already been very clear about the fact that he didn't want to be Batman anymore, so they're already looking for another actor. But now that Christopher Nolan is off the franchise too, they need another writer and director. Obviously, Christopher Nolan had a lot of help writing that script, so Ben Affleck probably won't be the only person to end up writing whatever this next Batman movie ends up being, but it's totally possible that he will be the writer and director. In addition, if this Superman vs. Batman movie team-up goes well, it's totally possible that we could see Ben Affleck directing the Justice League movie too. So most of you have been talking about Ben Affleck as Batman in the comments, and you're pretty divided. So a lot of people really hate the idea, and a lot of people are really excited about the idea. But honestly, I think we need to think more about Ben Affleck as a writer-director on this franchise, as opposed to him playing the role. So let's talk a little bit about how he came to be Batman and how this ended up happening. Right now, Ben Affleck is so embedded in the culture of Warner Brothers that I honestly think that he was the first person at the top of their list. Obviously, for a role as big as Batman, you probably audition everyone in Hollywood that's capable of doing it, but there's very few people who can write, act, and direct a movie. So honestly, I think they're looking up to set Affleck as the creative director of the Batman franchise going forward. Obviously, the Superman vs. Batman movie is just a dry run, because whatever his role is in the movie, it'll be minimal. It's basically Henry Cavill's sequel, so it's a Superman movie with Batman in it. One of the really important things that Affleck brings to the table that a lot of other directors don't is award show credibility. So last year at the Oscars, Argo was killing it, so obviously we know that Affleck can write and direct, and he's been nominated for Oscars in both categories, but he's also an Oscar-nominated actor too, and there are very few actors in Hollywood who have all those three bases covered. I honestly think that Warner Brothers is taking this really seriously going forward. Christopher Nolan was almost shut out of most of the Oscar categories, and most superhero films really only get nominated in technical categories. So I think that they're really looking for an Oscar-winning director to write an amazing script. I even think that Affleck is going to get a pass at that Superman vs. Batman movie script too. Zack Snyder actually writes a lot of his own scripts, but he got a lot of help from David S. Goyer on the Man of Steel movie, and there were a lot of criticisms, and they did have Christopher Nolan as an advisor, but Christopher Nolan will not be helping out with the second Man of Steel movie. He'll be consultant only, so he won't be working on the script. So I honestly think that Affleck is going to kind of step in and fill that role. He obviously won't be the lead writer, but I think that he wouldn't sign on to a movie this big without getting a pass at that script. But let's talk about the timing of the announcement. Don't you feel like it was a little bit rushed? I really think the reason for this is just that Warner Brothers really wanted to make an official statement on their own schedule. If you remember, yesterday I did a Bradley Cooper video for Guardians of the Galaxy, and that announcement was actually leaked. So I think that Warner Brothers saw that and they said, hey, we need to get this news out there as fast as possible, and we are heading into awards season, so I think that they want to associate Batman with Oscars. But let me know what you think about the idea of Ben Affleck as Batman, and what you think about the idea of him writing a Batman movie or even directing it. I think it's going to be really hard for Ben Affleck to direct a movie that he's acting in that's over $150 million. But if anybody can do it, I think he can do it. I mean, he's really used to smaller films, but let me know what you think. And let's talk a little bit about the look of this new Batman. It's going to be a long time before we see any photos from the set of this Superman vs. Batman movie, but I'm really interested to see what the visual style of this new Batman movie is, and if that is going to change from the Superman vs. Batman movie to the new standalone Batman movie. I think because now that they've announced Affleck that they're going to release the next Batman movie before Justice League comes too. And if that goes well, then we'll definitely see Ben Affleck kind of leading the Justice League team, just because he kind of brings that award show credibility that Zack Snyder doesn't have. I think whatever they end up doing, it's not going to be able to top Christopher Nolan's vision of Batman, so I think that they're probably going to try and do something a little bit different with the franchise. Let me know what you think that is. Honestly, I think that Ben Affleck does characters really well, so I think it's going to be a much more character-driven film, whatever it ends up being, but we probably won't find out for several years. A lot of my friends and a lot of other people have been talking about the Kevin Smith Batman idea, because remember, Affleck kind of got his start in the comic book world through the Blunt Man and Chronic stuff, so wouldn't it be hilarious to see a Kevin Smith-directed Batman film with Affleck and Matt Damon? That'd just be so hilarious. It would totally never happen, but it would be amazing to see. Anyway, final thoughts on Ben Affleck as Batman. Pics or it didn't happen. I have to see some pictures of him doing costume tests, doing acting tests. I really want to see what this is going to look like in the Superman vs. Batman movie before I pass official judgment, but I'm tentatively very optimistic, and I think it's going to be really exciting. Be sure to high five him. for winning the role. I'm sure every other actor in Hollywood auditioned for this. So I'll be doing tons more Superman versus Batman videos, as well as Ben Affleck Batman videos this fall. Be sure to subscribe to get them all. And if you really want to help me out, be sure to like and share this video. If you haven't seen my Bradley Cooper Guardians of the Galaxy video, you can click here to watch that. And you can click here to watch my Peter Jackson Doctor Who Series 8 video. Thanks so much for watching. High five to Ben Affleck. Congrats, man. See you guys tomorrow.